12 Forever, a vibrant animated series from the 2010s about a 12-year-old girl named Reggie. Along with her friends Todd and Esther, the trio would go into the imaginary world of Endless in order to escape the woes of growing up. Wacky characters, silly banter, battling the butt witch, and of course, the greatest preteen hardship of all, puberty.
It's crazy your mom thinks you don't know all this stuff.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's because I totally know all this stuff.
On the surface, 12 Forever seemed promising, with the potential becoming a hit in the same vein as Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, or Star Vs. At least the early seasons of Star. 12 Forever was aiming for a similar demographic and channeled the same energy, but things went wrong. Very wrong. When 12 Forever was released on Netflix in 2019, there was little to no marketing, with the series being axed after one season. What happened? How did this show die so quickly? Well, 12 Forever's journey to success was sabotaged, marred, and eviscerated by the creator herself. How so? Well, to put it in an ad-friendly way for YouTube, the creator really liked talking about underage boys online, and she did this when she was in her mid-20s. Yeah. Yikes. But what if I told you that 12 Forever was dead on arrival even before those specific allegations? That things somehow got worse and brought this show to its knees. So, let's take a closer look at what ruined 12 Forever. But before we do, quick shout out to this video's sponsor, Raycon Earbuds. Speaking of tunes, I've been tuning into my tunes with earbuds of my own. You guessed it, folks. You know what's about to happen. I'm still rocking my Raycon earbuds, baby, and I'm loving it. My Raycons have been able to tackle every lifestyle choice I make, and Lord knows I make a ton of them. My lifestyle is very on the go. Whether I'm hustling through my workday or hitting up the gym after working at the Giggle Grill cooking up tasty treats with my team of talented giggle chefs, my Raycon everyday earbuds have been by my side through it all. And with features like tap functions to pause playback and awareness mode so I can hear whenever someone is invading my personal space, these earbuds have got my back. Whether I'm listening to the latest developments in the animation industry or hitting the treadmill, my Raycon earbuds stay with me because their optimized gel tips are designed to fit comfortably in your ears to actually stay there. Also, a battery life of 32 hours with 8 hours of playback time ensures that these babies are staying with me, just like the unfathomable cringe that I've witnessed on my expedition for the tastiest content. And let's not forget the amazing audio quality in these earbuds. They are top-notch. Trust me, I've asked my audio engineer, and even he raves about the rival and audio quality these earbuds have, with multiple sound profiles for your specific musical taste buds, from rap, R&B, and rock. You know what else rocks? The competitive and affordable price point. While Raycon's quality rivals other big brands, their products start at half the price. There's seriously no reason not to have a pair, especially since they come in a multitude of different colors to fit all your beautiful and colorful personalities. And did I mention that with noise isolation, I can block out the daily distractions of life that claw at my mental fabric and demand my attention so I can focus on what matters most? My beautiful viewers. Yes, that's right, you right there. Now, here's a beautiful deal for you, my beautiful viewer. If you're ready to elevate your listening experience, click the link in the description down below or head to buyraycon.com/Saberspark to snag your own pair with a sweet 20% off discount and free shipping. Raycon has been a long-standing sponsor for the channel and has supported our endeavors by providing an accessible product at a price point that can't be beat. But don't just take my word for it. Check out the tens of thousands of 5-star reviews these babies have racked up. Don't forget to hit that link in the description down below for your exclusive discount. Trust me, you won't forget it. Go hit them up today. On that note, back to the video. So, what are the origins of 12 Forever? How did it come to be? Well, it all starts with the creator and showrunner, Julia Vickerman. She was a writer and storyboard artist renowned for her contributions to shows such as Yo Gabba Gabba, Clarence, Rick and Morty, Harvey Girls Forever, Paradise PD, and the Powerpuff Girls, and currently resides in California alongside her boyfriend, Tom Sharpling, who you may remember as Greg Universe.
Oh, you must be Peridot.
But keeping to her creative prowess, she pitched 12 Forever and developed it as a short film pilot for Cartoon Network, which made its debut online in 2016. The short followed 12-year-old Reggie and her chill best friend, Shane, as they both traveled to Party Island with a magic key to get away from a school bully. The island was a manifestation of Reggie's wild, erratic imagination. There, she faces off with the Butt Witch, a curvaceous, deep-voiced femme fatale, an obvious metaphor for puberty and female stereotypes that Reggie must fight against. As a pilot, it's serviceable. The setting, the 80s, 90s rad aesthetic, power set, villains, rules, and more. All of it just serviceably done in only 8 minutes. In an interview, Julia described she wanted the pilot to encapsulate how she felt as an adolescent. You know, that confusing age when some of your peers couldn't be more excited about becoming teens, and they're out getting boyfriends and girlfriends. Whereas some other kids, like Julia, still have their heels dug into a childish, escapist mindset. She wanted to make a story about the kids who wanted to live in their fantasies, rather than embrace their blossoming maturity.
What? What happened?
Okay, Tristan, here's the thing.
You took a nap with us in a locker, and quite frankly, I'm offended you don't remember.
Netflix picked up 12 Forever as a series, with the animation being done by Puny Entertainment and the production managed by the Cartel. Not that cartel, another cartel. You know, kind of an ominous name for a management company. Not sure why it's called that, but hey, there it is. Vickerman in interviews would say, quote, "This is a project that is very close to my heart, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to share Reggie's world with everyone. Puny and the Cartel have assembled an incredible team of writers and artists, and we can't wait to bring this series to life," end quote. And on July 29th, 2019, 12 Forever premiered on Netflix, a thunderous apathy. There was no real advertising for 12 Forever. It was also pretty silent online, though there were some favorable reviews about the show. Screen Rant said it was something all ages could enjoy. The AV Club compared it to Gravity Falls, with its sense of its Midwest small-town setting as the backdrop of conformist pressure, end quote. And the Windy City Times praised its LGBTQ representation, which I do as well, balancing a sweetly healthy bodybuilder gay power couple, with subplot writing of Reggie's wrestling with her sexual orientation when she gets a crush on a mature 8th grade girl. Which, you know, sounds worse now with the implications given Julia's allegations. We'll come back to the allegations here in a bit, but before we do, I have to ask, was 12 Forever any good? Well, it's not terrible. Execution's a bit wonky. Grading at points with screaming. Lots of screaming. But the show itself, I can't say is terrible. Every episode highlights how much real talent was put into it. The animation, aesthetic, voice acting all show clear effort and care to make 12 Forever a fun, imaginative ride. Also, you got that thick villainess, the Butt Witch, played wonderfully by Matt Berry. She's a fan favorite and also mine as well.
Powerful aroma. The sweet smell of utter despair. Why, hello, brown friend. Now, what would 12's most cherished companion be doing all alone all the way out here,
Yeah, curvaceous, deep-voiced goddess. Yeah, destroy that 12-year-old sense of self-worth. Work that sassy Aku energy in every scene you're in. Just, you know, please be in more of the series. At least more than 14 minutes in a 25-episode runtime. But despite that butt perfection and those lesser important good things, it's the execution of the show's writing and theming that completely sabotages 12 Forever. Between the pilot and the show, there were many tweaks made, like Party Island being renamed to Endless, and Sean and the school bully Tristan being deleted outright, and replaced with 2 new friends to form Reggie's main trio. Todd taking Sean's place as the chill best friend, and Esther replacing Tristan as the studious and boy-crazy straight-laced one. But the core concept of the series was still there. Reggie, or 12 as she goes by on Endless, flees to this wacky hellscape whenever life gets too overbearing. There, she fights monsters, the Butt Witch, explores the island, and hangs out with her uncomfortable friends.
Why'd you go in the vent, Borbo? Did Mommy make you mad?
No, I just like creeping and spooking and looking at people when they don't think I'm there. It's just what I like to do.
What's wrong with you?
Gross. Also, for an island that's supposed to be the manifestation of a 12-year-old's imagination, Endless is horrifying. They even bring it up as Reggie traumatizes a toddler she brings to Endless.
I wanna hold him.
Oh, a baby! Hush, little baby! Hush, I said.
Charming. It's a world of perpetual noise and color, which is one part imaginative, but with no real cohesion to the island. It just paints Reggie and the setting as irritating and grating. But then we have the other tweaks from the pilot that feel like the creator really undercut what 12 Forever could do pacing-wise. Like the show's format of 13 minutes an episode does not serve the subject matter at all. While 12 Forever's focus is on Reggie, the tween problems of Todd and Esther range from confronting embarrassment to coping with abandonment issues. The degree of complexity the show tackles is too vast, while also executing it with the depth of a puddle. Like starting as early as episode 2, 12 Forever features Reggie's total confusion towards learning about her body, throwing away all the material that could help her, creating a butt witch, then coming home to talk it out with her mom, who more or less just says, prepare to grow up, but not too fast. That series of events has all the right markers to tell a story of a young girl feeling legitimately scared over not knowing how her body is changing and wanting to stop it. But after this episode, it's never really brought up again. So the ending comes off like Reggie's in the right for running away from growing up.
I think I pulled my shoulder. Oh!
I'll go get the heating pad.
Oh, second thought. Savor your youth.
I will.
Yeah, that's not really a moral you want. And seeing Reggie's family being so indifferent to her really highlights that 12 Forever's characters also have a complete lack of natural chemistry, that their personalities are complete tropes with nothing else. Like Judy, Reggie's mom, wants her to grow up and pushes Reggie to be more feminine, trying to get her to use makeup and wear dresses. You know, early 2000s be a girl writing tropes we all recognize. So, the core issue within the narrative is that Judy does not understand her tomboy daughter. However, Judy too isn't overly feminine and exudes tomboy qualities herself. Now, that's not to say that she must be a tomboy, but 12 Forever does not explain why Judy wants Reggie to be more feminine. This pressure from Judy is the main reason why Reggie's rebelling so hard against them and wishes to escape reality. Did Judy experience being bullied when she was Reggie's age for being a tomboy? And now she wants to protect Reggie from what she had experienced? We don't really get anything that indicates that. So Judy's interactions with Reggie feel artificial and one-sided, all for the purpose of by-the-book's narrative structure. Even needing Reggie to be more mature does not work, since Judy lets her older son, Dustin, be an immature, red-pilled conspiracy theorist podcaster who constantly antagonizes Reggie, but Judy does nothing to discipline him, at like any time.
I have friends.
Toys aren't friends.
Leave me alone.
Dustin? I didn't do anything.
So, Reggie being immature and non-feminine is a problem, but your son being disrespectful, pompous, and callous is fair game? This trope of a family feels in conflict with itself, due to the interactions feeling more like generic tropes of characters rather than being characters themselves, which is especially irritating as the writers can do better than that. Like with Todd, who is arguably the best character in the show, due to his fleshed-out background. We're shown that his father is an irresponsible flake, leaving Todd to pick up the slack, acting as babysitter parent to his twin sisters, especially after his older brother goes off to college. We're able to peer into Todd's life and understand the motive to why he would want to metaphorically escape to Endless. Now, I wish that was the same for Esther, as she's easily the worst-off member of the main trio. Between Reggie and Todd's characters, Esther is both fleshed out and not at all at the very same time. We are never shown either of her parents or her home life, and the only evidence we have of her background is told through an exposition dump as Esther speaks like she has ChatGPT for her brain.
So since we're forming a classic three-kid dynamic, we should probably figure out where the holes are in this thing you got going on. In the top secret trinity, there's like the one who's really sweet but with a dark past, the one who is a natural leader who doesn't trust herself yet, and then there's a third one who's like cute and sassy and
she talks like a real humanoid life form from the 2000s. Yeah, that's definitely how a normal 12-year-old girl talks, you know, right there. But Esther says her parents are often busy and that she barely sees them. Yet they have high expectations for her to do well in school. And it's that stress which makes her want to run away to Endless. What's kind of a bummer is that could work. You could have a plot line where maybe Esther bonds with the Butt Witch as sort of a surrogate parental figure, because she is there, unlike Esther's parents. And then Esther turns on Reggie and Todd, who then eventually needs to prove herself to help recover their friendship. You know, yada yada stuff like that. Instead, Esther is never really given anything. She sort of just stays the resident smart one doormat of the group, And that's kind of it. Until you have the last-minute argument of the series finale, where the plot vomits up everything to try and wrap up the characters' stories. There are characters who feel more grounded, themes that are engaging to explore, character moments that can be heartfelt and relatable. But 12 Forever doesn't have that follow-through to make it mean anything, instead opting to explain things half-heartedly and let the tropes do the heavy lifting and storytelling. And all of that doesn't even factor into Reggie as a main character who is essentially the worst. Now, as a 12-year-old girl, of course, she is going to be written as filled with negative traits, like being overly temperamental, selfish, and impulsive as she is growing into her own. But for crying out loud, it's like the bully character from the pilot got fused into Reggie's already temperamental personality and turned her into always being awful. From episode 1 to 25, we see Reggie's worst qualities again and again and again, and we see them get worse and worse. While she may learn the lesson of the day, the writers don't do anything to actively show how these lessons in any way build Reggie's character. In fact, they more solidify how self-centered and immature she is. It's not because of any changes in hormones, she just sucks that much, which completely ruins the premise of the show. Endless and the lives of its inhabitants revolve around Reggie, answering her every selfish desire and want, though the show tries to say it doesn't.
So, did you learn the lesson today?
Yeah, knowing that Borbo likes spying on people really takes the fun out of it.
But what about the other stuff?
I mean, I guess the world doesn't revolve around me or whatever, but my main takeaway is Borbo is creepy.
Yeah.
But it does. It literally revolves around her. Every single inhabitant practically worships the ground Reggie walks on. Ignore the fact that there are a bunch of creepy and problematic friends.
Tasty Troy!
I have an extra special gift for you.
Oh, wow!
Sweet. Did you make this?
What do you think happened?
I don't like that. But it keeps pushing the writing to always have Reggie being selfish at every opportunity, as the endless friends always stroke her ego to reaffirm her awful actions. And even when her fear and selfishness completely blows up her friendship with Todd and Esther, after a beatdown from the Butt Witch, she apologizes without really saying what she did wrong, and the power of friendship saves the day and her friends. Ugh, yuck. This all comes together to make a show with a lot of emotion and talent behind it, but no real level of maturity to actually follow through on anything posed, which actually becomes very appropriate to the story of its creator. Because no matter what you or I thought of 12 Forever as a series, the show itself was dead in the water before it even aired.
Aw, you guys are my real friends.
Yes. Yes, we are.
Now that we know more about the show itself, we can return to the main question of this video. What ruined 12 Forever? Well, for those of you who remember when the original scandal was breaking news, you already know how it became infamous, becoming synonymous like other creators whose sexual misconduct got them fired and kicked off their own shows. Chris Savino of The Loud House, Skylar Page of Clarence, John Kay of Ren and Stimpy, all with their own similar stories of the allegations, threats, and issuing public apologies, revealing more of the disgusting, manipulative, disrespectful underbelly of the animation industry, where creators in power take advantage of their positions to use and abuse everyone they see as beneath them. Julia Vickerman became no different, as she became infamous for a Tumblr post that was unearthed around the time of 12 Forever's premiere. It is gross. To summarize it, as it's quite upsetting, the post is from April 17th, 2010, when Julia was around 25 years old. She went to a carnival and was riding some rides when she saw, quote, and God, I really don't want to read this, but I have to, this beautiful, androgynous, long, black-haired, emo 14-year-old boy waiting for a ride with his mom. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Again, that's already weird enough, excitedly talking about the beauty, tight black pants, I hate saying this, of a random 14-year-old boy. But the post continues with her and her friend following the poor boy around the carnival to sneak pictures of him, and how they use some leftover tickets she had as an excuse to talk to the boy and his mom, while also saying, oh God, if only his mom had not been there. And then she ends off the post saying, it's the best day ever, why am I so creepy, hashtag awful, hashtag P-word. She literally tagged her post infatuating over a 14-year-old with the hashtag P-word. The internet was very upset about finding this post and immediately burned Julia's reputation to the ground, calling her gross for her flagrant infatuation objectifying this 14-year-old. And that's before people found the other old jokes, joking about being excited for other skinny young boys, and even calling her friend a child molester in a happy birthday tweet. Like, what? But don't worry, Julia came out with an apology tweet 2 months after 12 Forever aired, saying, quote, "To those still messaging me, I made a bunch of jokes a decade ago. I did not mean to offend anyone. They were dumb, and they did not age well. I'm not the person I was 10 years ago, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry, too, that I had to read all that just now. Edgy jokes are one thing, even ill-conceived ones. But when you go into sexual offender territory and actually hashtag it with you being a creep towards underage boys on Maine, people will find it. That's what hashtags are for, you fucking idiot. That still wouldn't take away how these tweets, and especially that Tumblr post, paint a picture of a creative who, by being flagrantly edgy, seems so off-putting and immature, it's hard to take that apology as genuine. Especially when it's an apology that throws the excuse, "I made a bunch of jokes a decade ago." Where's the joke in, "I watched my muse push his dyed black hair behind his ears, exposing epic eyebrows, apple still pressed to his lips, say thank you and smile"? That's creepy. That's fucking creepy. So now when you watch 12 Forever in retrospect, it gets even more uncomfortable to sit through. It will always be there, lingering in the back of your mind.
Esther, you just forget the camera's there, okay?
Oh wow, that makes my skin crawl. So that's it, huh? 12 Forever's reputation was destroyed by a bunch of Tumblr and Twitter posts from a deluded, creepy creator, right? Oh, if you thought so, you'd be wrong. Because Julia's Tumblr post was not what killed 12 Forever, just its reputation. It was her misconduct behind the scenes that already killed the show way before it even aired. This misconduct from Julia is lesser known, but from forum posts and later substantiated by court documents, Julia had sexual harassment allegations against her for misconduct towards some of the male and female storyboarders on 12 Forever, with rumors saying that the storyboarders were keeping quiet due to fear of professional retaliation. So, the result was Julia was booted off mid-production and replaced with Puny's entertainment co-owner, Shadi Petoskey, to act as showrunner. Now, how do we know about this, though? Well, there are publicly available court documents that give a fuller picture of the situation. But these documents were not with Julia as the defendant, but the cartel. No, not that cartel again. I'm talking about the cartel, the management company behind 12 Forever, and the ones who hired Julia Vickerman and the production company, Puny. Puny argued that they and the storyboarders who were harassed could blame the cartel for hiring Vickerman, claiming they were liable for her subsequent harassment, as they were responsible for the management and hiring. So, with the threat in mind, the cartel filed a complaint for declaratory relief, to preemptively argue they were not liable for Julia's actions. And I think after the dismissal of Puny's claims, that pretty much killed Cartel's desire to ever be involved with 12 Forever moving forward. But hey, the show still had Shadi Petoskey showrunning it, who had experience running her own show, Danger and Eggs. And with their company, Puny, maybe, just maybe, they could go to another management company and build up the team again for season 2. Unfortunately, though, Puny had its own issues. On top of the complaints the company received for Julia's misconduct, there were also claims pointing to Puny's inaction dealing with Julia. During that same time in the 12 Forever production, one of the other owners of Puny, Chris Hardwick, who is most recognizable for his podcast and talk show work on The Talking Dead and the Nerdist podcast, also received allegations pointed at him from his ex-girlfriend. That's not good. And soon after this period, Puny vanished entirely as a company around the beginning of 2019, leaving no fanfare or reason why. The company essentially was wiped from the internet, and Shadi Petoskey distanced herself from Chris Hardwick and 12 Forever, saying she has no connection to it anymore since season 1 was delivered. You know, I started developing this video to dissect the downfall of 12 Forever, but once I really opened the floodgates to see the full story of what happened, I realized it's a miracle that a show even came out of this mess at all. From Julia's disgusting misconduct behind the scenes, to her social media and lackluster apology post, dBPony, rotting from the inside out, facing its own issues of negligence and misconduct allegations, and then the court case to poison the waters of any company wanting to collaborate with them in the future. It just, oh God, it just, this show really could have been something. But ultimately, it ended up being a disaster in more ways than one. In conclusion, the real downfall of 12 Forever was the failures of the people at the top behind the production. Those that were wrapped up in the prestige of creating their own Netflix show. Their dream project, so they could act however they wish, feeling no fear of repercussion. But their actions did have lasting consequences. Julia is now completely out of the animation space, mainly doing work with her boyfriend doing music videos and some photo shoot work. Her victims have entirely wiped their social media accounts of 12 Forever. In their portfolios, some still feature their storyboarded scenes. But apart from that, they have distanced themselves greatly. Puny is completely dissolved. No trace is left at all. Chris Hardwick went through an investigation and was ultimately reinstated to his talk show and podcast. The cartel is still continuing their production and management work. Shadi Petoskey continues working as an executive producer, but has not been connected to an animated project since 12 Forever. That is where all the pieces fell at the end of the story. But what is there to learn? What can we take away from all of this? Well, number one, don't be an immature creep and respect those who you work with. Yeah, I think that's a good moral to the story. Julia became a real-life self-insert of Reggie, becoming exactly as grating in her post and attitude as Reggie was in the show, dealing with her own problems by deflecting and blaming others. And seeing that disconnect of thought and action with Julia's apology makes it feel disingenuous, especially knowing she signed an open letter to studios to end sexual harassment alongside Shadi Petoskey. That is some gross hypocrisy there. In the absolute best case scenario, where all the allegations against Julia were false, from all of her social media posts and interviews, it paints a person who, like Reggie, still has a lot of growing up to do, and torpedoed her own success due to her own arrogance. But I think you can summarize Julia's maturity at the time by this real interview question she answered. Quote, "What's the strangest thing you can remember doing as a kid?" Julia said, quote, "I took a dump behind a sign in my neighborhood and would go back every day to write down what happened to the poop as it deteriorated. That's probably not what you're looking for, but oh well." End quote. Yeah, you just hurt those around you with no flagrant care of the repercussions, because you had power as a creator. I guess you now have two piles of shit you can watch deteriorate now, one being the poop from your childhood and the other one being your career.